You're listening to the Maryland Fishing Line, a production of the Chesapeake Angler Magazine. And now your host, Brian Rains.
Bitter patter, let's get at her. Hey y'all, I'm Brian.
I'm Joey.
Welcome to the Maryland Fishing Line, episode 10. Double digits, Joey.
I know. I can't believe you've kept me around this long.
No, you're lockstep, baby. You're not going anywhere. Today is Tuesday, July 28th, 2020. This is the podcast where we talk about fishing and fishing-related things throughout the great state of Maryland. Folks, the Maryland Fishing Line is a production of the Angler Magazine Chesapeake edition. The Chesapeake Angler can be found throughout southern Maryland, Anne Arundel County, and the Eastern Shore. If you'd like to see it in your area and it's not there, let me know. How you doing this week, Joey?
I am doing splendid.
You're going to talk about redfish later, aren't you? I know.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I know it. I've been watching your pictures on Instagram, dude. You're lighting it up.
I tried hard just for content.
Hey, that's what it's all about. Before we dive into what you and I have been up to, though, let's take a look at what's going on around the state. The main Chesapeake Bay surface water temperatures have risen to sort of their peak water temperature for the bay in the mid-80s right now. And I'm out of town. I'm in North Carolina, so it's hot at home, right, Joey?
Well, not after the storm. It might be nice, but it is freaking hot.
Are storms rolling through with the heat, or is it getting into that pattern? I know before I left,
last week was. Yeah, that's how it was.
Hot.
You want to think about so hot? I didn't post it. I don't even know if I have it. While I was out fishing yesterday morning, I warmed up my Pop-Tart on my kayak.
No, you did not. Nice.
I did. I swear to God. It was that hot.
So these hot, calm conditions with water surface temperatures and limited oxygen, the deeper waters are not being recharged with oxygen. So be mindful of that. This, in turn, increases the chance of algae blooms, which you've always got to be on the lookout this time of the year. Game fish will remain at similar locations on cooler river mouths and main bay structure, but moving to slightly shallower depths, looking for maximum suitable oxygen in the coolest water available. Striped bass. Hey, we're not going to talk a lot about how you can catch them because you don't want to be after them. The weather right now is putting a lot of heat-related stress on summer striped bass population. It is time, folks, to maybe consider focusing on early morning hours or just honestly switch to another species during this heat wave. If you do happen to target striped bass, remember that you must use non-offset circle hooks when chumming or live lining. Considering switching up those lures to single barbless hooks to make releasing the fish easier. Use care. Please use care when you're handling the fish. And never, ever, ever use a rag while unhooking a striped bass. This will rub off their protective slime, making them more vulnerable to the summer combination of heat stress and disease. So, there's so many other fish right now. Why you got to be after those poor babies? Leave the babies alone.
Hey, real quick, I started watching last night. There's a really good video or movie called Running the Coast. It's all about the striped bass migration.
On Netflix?
No.
Or YouTube?
You got to buy it.
Okay. I'll come to your house then.
I think any of the Marylanders, the Chesapeake Bayers would really like it. It's like $10.
Yeah.
I know I met Jamie years ago. He put a lot of time. He put like 4 years worth of work into this thing.
Oh, well then support him.
And it's like 3 hours long. Like, it is awesome.
So it's basically the migration of the rockfish?
Yeah, you basically start at Susquehanna Flats, go all the way up to Portland, Maine, and back, and they hit everywhere in between.
Oh, cool.
And it is an awesome video. It's on was it Vimeo? Is that platform?
Yeah.
So he does all this stuff through Vimeo.
Yeah, it's because you can.
And he's got a lot of good, everything from tarpon to the stripers, but it's an excellent. I mean, my wife probably thinks it sounds really boring as I'm saying this out loud, but it's really cool.
What's his name? Who did the movie?
Jamie Howard.
Okay.
I think it's Jamie Howard Films or Productions but the movie is called Running the Coast.
Cool.
But it's about 3 hours long.
That's long. That's a couple sitters for me.
And it's really, it's really important, but it's really cool too. It's not boring. It's people fishing the whole time.
And you don't want to watch it on your phone. You want to watch it on a big screen.
Yeah, put it on, crack a beer.
Okay.
Do it on like a rainy day. It's fun.
You want to
Yes, I'll go right into bluefish though.
Cool.
Basically, bluefish, they're here. I mean, I missed a couple the other day. Hot and dry weather with high salinities equals more and better shots of bluefish. The best thing like you said, trolling spoons and hoses, surgical tube lures, will put you on the bluefish.
So now, back when I was a kid and we'd fish, I thought that everybody just fished with, when you're in the bay, that you only drug surgical tube.
See, I only knew spoons.
Okay. Yeah,
but I know about the surgical tube now.
Yeah.
It works.
Mm-hmm.
Small bluefish are running about 1 pound, which is it's fun for the kids, and they're perfect to eat. Fresh or smoked. I really like them smoked.
Oh, smoked.
But before you take as many as you want to smoke them, your daily limit for 2020 is 3 bluefish per day per angler fishing from a private pier or private boats or shore, and 5 bluefish when fishing from a charter boat. So check that. I'm really bad at. I don't keep fish, but people always ask me, what's the size on that? I don't keep fish, but I'm not eating the fish in our water.
I would keep. I would keep some bluefish on a day that I'm prepared to keep them. But honestly, I'd rather buy smoked bluefish because smoking fish is a labor, dude. It's ridiculous labor.
Smoking bluefish is quick and easy.
Oh no! Don't you have to brine them and soak them? No. And at least that's the way we used to do it.
I'm talking about smoking them, just putting the fillets on there and then making some bluefish dip out of it.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
we got to do that.
Oh, if you think smoking a bluefish is a piece of cake, I'll go run and find you some bluefish somewhere, and we'll
get some bluefish.
Love it. Cobia Fishing has been so good this summer at the middle grounds, the Target Ship, the Mud Leads, and Point Lookout. Traditional methods continue to work, chumming and fishing with cut bait or live eels. So in past years, I don't know if we've seen much of it this year, anglers have also caught some large cobia with other live baits, such as spot. I've not heard of a lot of people fishing live bait for spot. They are doing some sight fishing with live eels or large soft plastics on a lead head jig. That requires, though, you to have an elevated platform to be able to spot fish. And, of course, who doesn't wear polarized glasses to cut through the glare on the water? Trolling spoons and hoses, just like the bluefish, are always also going to find cobia, although you're going to want them to maybe be a little bit larger, I would think. So.
Buy a drone.
Oh, that's brilliant, actually. Trying to land a drone on a boat, though, must be fun. I'm sure you can do it. I'll do it. I'll try it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Get out of the Target Ship with a drone in your kayak.
Hey, drum roll, please. This is what you've been waiting to talk about all week. But don't talk about your stuff yet. Talk about your stuff at the end.
Redfish and puppy drum. Large red drum are being caught and released. Light tackle jigging and soft plastics in the lower bay. I've seen a few up here too. Trolling spoons and hoses, which just like bluefish. You can produce some pretty big drum around the Target Ship. That's what I've been seeing a lot of pictures from lately.
Yeah, that seems like that's the go-to for any pictures you see.
Like cobia and red drum down there.
Yep. Now, we're going to see. You're going to talk a little bit more about some redfish because I know you found some. Looking at speckled trout. Shallow water fishing for specks continues with topwater and soft plastic baits near shallow grass beds along the eastern shore marshes. We didn't get any feedback, Joey, on our rundown for speckled trout. Nicole, the one that asked that the young lady that asked us to actually do that sort of deep dive, I did hear back from her and she was very appreciative. Didn't hear back from anybody else. So, Zara spooks are going to work over those grass beds. I know you love to throw the spooks, right?
Yep, they're my favorite.
Reports are showing soft plastics and paddle tails working best over deeper grass, shoreline, and structure, rocks, riprap, wood, and stump fields. Now, the best speckled trout fishing is occurring along the marshes of the Pocomoke and the Tangier Sounds, all the way up to Hooper's Island. Speck action continues from the Choptank River south along the Dorchester County shorelines and down into Crisfield area, marshy shorelines and cuts. Grass beds and 3 to 5 feet of water are excellent places to cast topwater lures and swim shads. Again, spooks, gulp plastics, soft plastics, and pearl white with sparkles are popular. I know that pink is also a good color to combine in with the white. And the structure around Sharps Island Lighthouse has also been a very popular spot.
Yes, sir. Spanish mackerel. Just like bluefish, the combo of hot and dry weather and the salinity being high is going to kind of hone you in on them. They're hoping to find repeats of last year's hot action on Spanish mackerel, which extend all the way to the upper bay.
Haven't seen that yet, though, have we? Have we seen?
No.
I don't think we've seen them that far yet.
You'll find them in some busting schools of bait fish alongside the bluefish. So, reel as fast as you can alongside of that. You can probably pick one out of there. Yeah, fast. I mean, those are the dudes that are fast trolling. Around 7 knots is the ideal speed. With a small drone or Clark spoon. But always use metal lures with those because they got some pretty sharp teeth. Or metal, even that with maybe a metal leader, like a wire leader.
Yeah.
Helps a lot. So
cool.
Oh, holy crap. White perch.
White perch. And I put we're catching white perch. And I lumped white perch and spot together because it's basically the exact,
like 40 of them yesterday.
It's basically the exact same thing right now. So the white perch and the spot are going to run together, and they are right now providing an incredibly reliable action during these hot summer months. They are spread throughout the entirety of the bay, all of its tributaries. And I can't talk tonight. And populations are abundant. Folks are finding lots of small fish in some areas, but a few big fish can be culled from the school. You just got to keep after them. The usual small spinners, 1/16 to 1/8 ounce lead heads with grub tails on light spinning tackle are going to be a great producer for white perch. Pieces of bloodworm, if you want to go with some cut bait, grass shrimp and seafood shrimp are great for spot, and add in some small minnows for perch. Medium-sized minnows fished under a bobber around shoreline structure are going to they're often going to produce a very large grade of perch. White perch and spot can be found on the hard bottom areas in the shoals off Sandy Point State Park Beach, the mouth of the Magathie, and the shallow ends of the Bay Bridge. They can also be found at Snake Reef, Belvedere Shoal, and the 7-foot and 9-foot knolls. Bottom fishing action for perch and spot can be found at Hackens and Thomas Points, shell bottoms and bars, as well as around Eastern Bay, Poplar Island, the Severn, and Choptank, basically everywhere. Just, if it's around the bay and you want to go catch a fish, put something on the bottom. So fishing for white perch in the shallow water shoreline areas could be steady from now well into September. So you got plenty of time to get after them. Shoreline structures such as bulkheads, submerged rocks, trees, riprap are great areas to cast small spinners, spinnerbaits, and jigs. White perch and spot can also be caught off of docks and piers in 5 to 10 feet of water with a simple 1-hook or 2-hook bottom rig baited up with pieces of soft crab, bloodworm, or grass shrimp. Synthetic bloodworm-flavored fish bites also work well. Have you ever used those, Joey?
Nope.
I've used them. They actually do really work well. Steady bottom fishing action in the hard bottom areas of the lower Patuxent, Hunga, and off Hooper's Island with pieces of bloodworm on a bottom rig is the best bait for perch and spot alike. Both fish I love to catch.
Yep. No, sorry.
Croaker.
Well, not much to do about croaker, but they've caught a few small crocus in the Severn, the South River, and other areas, but mostly are sublegal. Much like the strappas, handle those fish quickly and get them back in the water for the future. But that's about every fish right now, I would say.
Yeah. Do you remember the days of big croaker? I'm sure you do.
I think so. Yeah.
Man,
when I was a young kid.
Man, that was so much fun. Go out night fishing for croaker at the mouth of the Patuxent and just slay them. And a 20-inch croaker if that fish got much bigger, you weren't going to get it in the boat. Switching up to freshwater, looking at largemouth. Bass are firmly entrenched now in their summer patterns. Look for them to feed early and late in the day, and then find some place to be lazy during the day. Ponds and small lakes can be fished from the shore with a variety of weedless soft plastics, including plastic worms, flukes, and lizards in grass, lily pads, or near sunken wood structure. A snakehead.
What? Yeah, sorry. No, I was thinking about something to talk about largemouth wise, and I just totally.
Hey, are you going to do the August KBF?
That's what I was thinking, but then I was like, I didn't know where to throw that in. Sorry.
You're so hung up on redfish, though. Are you going to do it, though?
No, I was actually. So I was thinking. Yeah, I'm going to talk about it because
okay, we'll wait.
I was back and forth on the thing, but sorry, I got largemouth on my head too. Snakehead. Northern snakeheads will jump all over traditional bass lures such as buzzbaits and frogs. And they might even kill your buzzbait or your frog. Excellent. These are excellent baits to cast over thick grass, and we are seeing a lot of that now. I've been hearing a lot of stuff being choked up with grass. So, nice weedless frog is always good to not get hung up. Chatterbaits and paddle tails will also produce snakeheads, as seen in Brian's videos. Mm-hmm. Tributaries of the tidal Potomac, Patuxent, Patapsco, and other tidal rivers around the Chesapeake have expanding populations of northern snakeheads. They're popping up everywhere. For anglers targeting snakehead in central Maryland, try Little Seneca Lake at Black Hills Regional Park. Did not know that.
Never fished there.
I've heard of the place, but not snakehead there yet. But department biologists first documented a snakehead population in the lake in May 2019 after receiving reports of sightings by anglers. Oh, so that's pretty cool. Maybe. They have been observed close to the bank during the heat of the day. They like the heat of the day. Sometimes, I guess it sounds like it's kind of the opposite of what we're used to. On the eastern shore, which they're everywhere, the Dorchester County tidal backwaters, tributaries to the Nanticoke and Wicomico are consistent hotspots right now. Looking
at catfish, I haven't caught a snakehead in a couple of weeks, I don't think. I've got a video that I'm getting ready to drop on the YouTube channel, the last one I caught, though. Catfish. Conowingo is producing some large flatheads and blue cats. You ever caught a flathead, Joey?
Not that I can think of.
I don't think I've ever caught one either. That might be something to go hunting for. Channel cats are abundant just about all over now as well. Catfish can be caught on fresh cut baits, chicken livers, clam snouts, and a variety of other stanky baits. If it's stinky, put it in the water. Catfish will eat it.
To kind of wrap up the fishing report, carp are providing steady summer fun in the upper Potomac, C&O Canal, and various ponds with traditional baits of scented dough balls or corn.
Well, if you can keep Joey from eating the garlic corn.
If you can keep from eating the corn or Kool-Aid dough balls. Fly casters. Fly casters can catch carp with purple flies that resemble mulberries in areas which the berries fall into the water from overhanging branches.
You've told me about that before.
I've never found a place with mulberries though. I've had to come up with some weird concoctions on the fly.
Huh.
Carp flies are really cool though.
So do they eat any of those little like seed type things that fall in the water?
Oh, they do. Yeah. You just got to find the right pond or area where that is a common item.
Now you've told me in the past too that when you're fly fishing for carp, you've got to kind of sight cast them.
Oh yeah, it's totally opposite of fishing with corn and dough balls.
Instead of just throwing it out
stalking,
there.
like it's a totally different game. It's pretty cool.
You gotta get that thing out there in front of them and hope they pick it up and suck it in.
Oh yeah, it's like fishing for like bonefish on the flats. I haven't done that before, but that's what
cool. So it sounds like even though it's hot out there, there's still fish to be caught. Just be careful with it, folks. You be careful being out there in the heat, but then also understand that the fish need you to be careful for them. So
Correctamundo.
Checking out what we got going on at YouTube. We are going to launch a new monthly giveaway with multiple ways to enter on August 1st. You can enter to win a $25 Bass Pro Shops e-gift card. Yep. As always, folks, if there's something you would like to see us cover on the YouTube channel, let us know, and we'll see what we can do about that. Now, I'm getting ready to drop a video in the next day or so with the last snakehead I caught and a little bass trip over in the Spatter Docks that kind of at Seven Ponds. It talks a little. There's a big snakehead in the back ponds at Seven Ponds, dude. Legit real. Bless you.
Thank you.
Little magazine catch up. The August issue is going to start showing up close by any day now. If you want to see your catch in print, though, please remember you can send us photos to theanglerchesapeake@gmail.com for our brag board. Make sure to include a byline and that you have attached the highest resolution image suitable for printing. If you send them from your phone, make sure to send the largest file size possible. We had such a great response last month for the August edition. There's 2 pages. I mentioned this last week. There's 2 pages of bragboard photos this month because I couldn't choose. People were just sending pictures and sending pictures and sending pictures. It was fantastic. So I also want to take this opportunity to give a shout out to all of our advertisers in the magazine for September. These businesses, folks, are dedicated to the outdoors and understand the value and economic impact of outdoors men and women throughout the state. So, make sure to support them when you can. You're going to find links to all of them in the show notes, and in every YouTube video description that I post has this information as well. I want to thank Waterfront Marine in Edgewater, Annapolis Canoe and Kayak in Annapolis, Cavallaro Heath Group for all your waterfront real estate needs, Eat Chesapeake in Dunkirk, Rosehaven, and Bowie. That's Chesapeake Grill. Good stuff. Huntingtown Automotive in Huntingtown, JMJ Firearms in Mechanicsville, Maryland, Modern Air for all your HVAC needs in Mechanicsville, Maryland, Scotts Cove Marina over on Deal Island. They're authorized Suzuki dealer, and they work on those motors as well, and it's only a short 3-mile run from Solomon's over to Scotts Cove Marina. Stoney's Kingfishers in Solomons, Maryland. So those are our folks that we owe a bit of gratitude to this month. Joey, let's talk about what you've been doing this week with the fly rod, buddy.
Oh, this is exciting. I've been waiting for this all week. Other side. No, what did I do? I fished a lot this week. I didn't ride my bike too much like our other podcast, but excuse me. So my fishing this week started out Saturday morning and got out in the creek. I didn't have anything in mind. Been planning on looking for reds. I haven't had my focus on stripers, mainly because I know the heat and whatnot. So I kind of focused my fishing on where I would probably think I would catch redfish in the creek more versus stripers, which is kind of 2 different little bodies of water, obviously in the same creek. But the way I was fishing, what I was throwing, and how I was throwing it, so kind of downsized a little bit. I'm not going out to catch the 40-inch, red drum. I'm not going out to catch. I would love to catch the 20 to 25s, but I knew I had to start somewhere.
Right.
So I'm like throwing my 6 and 8-weight fly rod, and I did have a spinning rod with me, but one rod had a shrimp fly on it, one had a crab fly on it, and I'm hitting all of the areas I know that have more of the points in the creek that hold some grass, that have a little bit of structure, like some rocks, and just bang that out for like 3 hours.
What water depth?
5:30.
What water depth? What water depth?
I was fishing in probably 4 to 5 feet at the most.
Okay.
I was fishing I was right at the top of the tide.
Okay.
Probably till about just before incoming, just before high, and then at the end of that.
Okay.
So it was like 6 to 8. I think I said 3 hours, which was a little off. 6 to 9 actually. Okay. But it wasn't. I caught a lot of perch and stuff all morning, and I knew I could probably pick up some specks, which I didn't do. But it wasn't until right across after I did all the paddling, right across the creek from my pier, in a section that it always looked like it's going to hold really good fish, and it actually has started to.
Oh, cool.
And no, I worked that for a little bit with a shrimp fly, and finally picked up. And I knew as soon as I hooked it, it wasn't a perch, it wasn't a striper, and so you kind of had that feeling. I was like, oh, it's finally it. So got my net ready and caught a little puppy drum, like 10, 11 inches.
Nice.
And man, I would have thought I just caught like the biggest fish. But I've been after them for like a month, and it's like my goal this year. I think I told a lot of people, I said, my goal this year is redfish.
Yeah, you've been
puppy
talking
drum
about
and stuff like that.
But man, I was so excited when you sent that picture.
Oh yeah, I was on cloud 9.
I was jumping out of my skid too. I was like, ah.
then I was like, oh, all that time and it's right across from the house. I was like, this area has been great.
It's funny because you could have like fished from the front porch. You'd be like,
oh, I could have left at 7:45 and not woke up at 5:00. Went out.
True.
Because they're not. I've never known them as being like the morning bite. I think has been my favorite. Obviously, I've done it the last 3 mornings, but I don't think you don't have to be up at sunrise for redfish.
Yeah,
they kind of like the cool areas to fish in. I think it's easier to pick out stuff, and obviously right now in the middle of the day sucks, but so I caught that one, and then not long after, I probably lost probably around 15, maybe a little bit bigger at the boat.
Oh no!
But I was still like, my adrenaline was already pumping.
Yeah, but you got to see it, right?
I got to see it, and I know it's there. I know there's others.
Nice. That's exciting, dude.
So that was Saturday, and then I went and did my day at work at the bike and kayak shop, and sending everything to my dad. I sent it to you, and my dad's like, "Oh, I was up," and I was like, oh. It was one of the things I woke up Saturday morning, and I was like, "I think I'm going to fish this morning." I have the ability to where I live to just decide that, which is nice. So I talked to him, and I'm going to do a quick rundown. We went to St. Jerome's on Sunday, which is southern St. Mary's. It's a huge creek north of Point Lookout.
Okay.
And it totally gets misjudged, and I misjudged how big it is.
Okay.
We left so I knew Buzz's Marina does $5 a truck. I thought it was $5 a kayak, but we obviously had my truck with 2 kayaks, $5 launch fee, which you got to give it to them. It's a really nice place.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a mom and pop place, but you do have a bathroom there if you need it, like literally right at the ramp. You have the nice ramp. You have the amenities.
That's Christy and Michael, right?
I think.
Yeah. My brother used to keep a trailer and run his boat out of Buzz's years and years ago. For several years in a row, he did that.
It's got easy access to some really nice water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is about 1.5 miles pedal from Buzz's all the way out to the inlet, and the inlet is what people are hunting to hold really nice fish. And Buzz's has a really good reputation, or not Buzz's, St. Jerome's, of holding really big redfish, big speckled trout, and striper. So my plan was to head all the way out to the inlet and fish the other side of the inlet, but wind picked up. Wasn't the best morning. I got out, and I got a really funny joke coming up. Might piss off Jerry, but we finally worked our way out. My dad was kind of getting tired because there was a lot of paddling, and he has a bonafide, which is a paddle kayak, not a pedal. So it's hard to fight when the wind and the tide are both pushing out.
Yeah.
It was tough.
Yeah.
So I actually got all the way out to the inlet. Beautiful, like bay was flat, but it was enough breeze to throw off some kayakers, and a couple guys and some Hobies come around the corner. And the dude told me before I got really far out, he's like, "Yeah, everything died off. We're heading back in." But I never meet anyone that fishes out of a Hobie that's like, and hopefully they're not listening. But and I was telling Eric, I met Eric out in the creek yesterday, and I was like, Eric, do you have the same thing when you run into people fishing Hobies? They're just not. They have like this thing like Ranger bass boat guys have. I don't know.
They look down on everybody else. So
yeah.
Was it Outbacks or pro anglers?
Oh no, this dude had a really nice pro angler.
See now that's
I
a
love the
legit
Hobie pro angler.
That's a legit $5,000 boat if it's all rigged up, especially a PA-14 with the Mirage 360. Yeah. Woo!
I don't know if it was a 360, but I am really liking the pro anglers, just the hull.
Yeah.
I still don't like the paddle. I'm not paying $4,000 for the 360 one.
The 360, I mean, I love the way that it does the kick up. When you're running across a rock or something.
I just love everything about it.
Yeah.
Even though I just said I hated it.
You hate it because you ain't got one.
I hate it because I ain't got one.
That's what you could have said to him when you come across that stuck up Homie owner. You could be like, "Hey, you got the Mirage 360." Oh.
No. I don't know. Like I said, I do love them.
Okay,
I'm not a fan of the non 360. Anyway,
all of our Hobie kayak folks just lost
2 of our 6 listeners.
Yeah, but they're the ones that are worth a lot of money. So
no, they spend all the money on their boats.
That's true. They got no money for nothing else.
It's the Jagaloon. It's got like the $200, whatever, and he's out there slaying it.
Yeah. All right, that's about it.
Anyway,
So did you get on any fish at St. Jerome's?
Yeah, so it's same thing. Whole morning, a lot of water covered. I did fish a good bit. I don't know if I didn't pull my fly rod at all yet that day because of the wind. But half a mile from the ramp, similar terrain, nailed a bigger little puppy drum, probably in that 12, 13 inches category. I think I sent you that picture, didn't I?
Yeah.
Beautiful fish again. Like I fill up my because the same thing. I know the fish are hot, blah blah blah. Redfish, I think, do well with the heat.
Yeah, they're tough.
But I pull my scupper and put a lot of water in my kayak.
Okay.
That's how I get my pictures. So, I mean, I got a nice little thing of water in there, and I put them in there for a second, get situated.
Wow, that's brilliant, Joey. That's really smart.
That's why I got pictures of them laying out, but there's more water than it looks in the pictures.
Yeah.
Found another one. Didn't have much time. We kind of worked our way in. It was getting late.
Yeah.
So plans on going back to St. Jerome's. So I did like buzzes. That was fun. And then yesterday, same thing. I went out, fished a creek. I caught about 40 perch. But I'm fishing similar lures, similar bodies of water. I'm bound to catch perch to get to the redfish or the little puppy drum. So
yeah.
So quickly though, I covered a lot of water yesterday. I made it really far out in the river, almost to drum point.
Wow. Yeah, you did go a long ways.
I was fishing certain parts of the river on the drum point side. There's a shoal out in the middle of the river a lot of people don't know about until they run aground on their boat with it. Mm-hmm. But man, I was fishing a seawall, and I'm 100% it was not a skate. And I was fishing a little bit more of a lighter action. I finally picked up one of my smaller rods from my dad's shed that I've had sitting there since I moved whenever I did. And finally put fresh line on it, picked it up from Tackle Box, and had a little Strike King mini spinnerbait, which I love. And I totally had something. I've never had something break braided line.
Wow. Could have been
this
a
thing
cobia.
was gnarly. I don't know what it was. Like I said, it definitely wasn't a skate, but totally. And I used Palomar. I mean, the Palomar is a really strong knot.
Yeah.
Broke clean.
So what did it do? Did it broke the line or did it pull the knot?
Pulled the knot, broke the line. I mean,
pulled the knot.
I don't know. It was a decent fish. I don't know what it was. If it was a bigger striper, a bluefish. It was putting some tug on there.
Nice.
But
That's
then
fun.
right across where I was fishing, about the I have a little bit more.
You're good.
Fishing the spot right across my pier on the way home on the marshy side, the little grassy rocky area, and I freaking hooked a skate that I did not even see. It was. I mean, I was jigging the bottom, and this son of a nutcracker went right under the boat, and I was like, well, I'm gonna spool my rod. You know, I just spent $20 on braid, and I was able to rip it out of it after a big run and getting it.
Yeah, that's where you.
I was like, I want my spinnerbait because you can't buy freaking fishing lures right now.
I know you
and
can't buy.
My line.
You can't buy anything.
And I love those little Strike Kings, and so I just packed it up. But I did, like I said, it did warm up my Pop-Tart on my kayak because it did get hot.
I love that. That's awesome, dude.
So, yeah, finally found the little puppy drum. I might not be able to fish. I'm going up to Jersey Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but I'll go out Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And KBF really quick. Yeah. I have to finish a couple more things. I actually got to buy a hog trough or something because the tournament starts tomorrow or
the first.
Oh yeah. So you do the Maryland one, right?
Yeah.
I found the Paddlefin Noob tournament. That's $10.
Oh, is that a KBF?
It's kind of a foot in the door, same rules, same everything. Kind of like an intro to get into it because
right.
There's a lot of things you have to do that you don't realize.
Oh yeah.
So it's $10. It gets your feet wet. Although I looked at leaderboard from like a month or two ago, and there's dudes almost putting 100 inches on there.
Yeah, and I can guarantee I know who they are.
And they're getting their feet wet, but I think it's more of a nationwide. It's one of the things. It's $10. You learn it first.
Yeah,
and then you get and I think you can sign up for like multiples at once. Though you said.
Yep.
So I could do the Noob and Maryland and whatever.
Yep.
And those fish could all count across those boards.
So when I started, I dove right into the state challenges. just simply because that was the one I found. It was KBF, and it was like $35 to enter. I've been looking at a lot of these tournaments, like up on Susquehanna Flats. They're doing some smallmouth tournaments, and man, they're like $200 entry fees. And I'm like,
I've been playing around on the site.
No, I'm not even anywhere close to that yet. No, not ready for all that. So I think I'm going to need a little bit more. I don't know what I need a little bit more, but I need a little more of something before I put $200 into a tournament entry fee. For me, at least. For me. So, well, I hope. I've been watching that leaderboard, waiting for your name to show up to see if you're going to join me in the August challenge. And I hope to see you there. So, you got anything else?
Just be afraid, Brian. I'm holding back on all my largemouth stuff. You should bring if I did well that first month.
I would. Because I've done okay. I think there were over 20 anglers in the first month, and that was the month in May where the top 50% qualified for nationals, and I placed 8th. And then the next month I placed 4th, and then last month I placed 5th. So I'm doing okay. I just can't seem to get those 1 or 2 or 3 big quality fish to kind of push me over the top.
You need time on water, Brian.
I need time on Eastern Shore. I need time on Eastern Shore. Is what I need.
If we both do this, and it's easy.
Yeah, we'll go over there. So for me, I am traveling this week. I'm not sure. I think I did mention that. I am in western North Carolina, a little town called Banner Elk, which is just outside of Boone and north of Asheville. And I did something this week, Joey, that I have never really done.
I know.
I went out. Yeah, it's exciting. I went out and targeted trout. And, there's lots of little mill ponds and impoundments and things like that around here. And I've done some fishing down here, and I've always gone and done that. And, soaking some night crawlers, and, you catch some little, bluegill or little sunfish or little sunfish or something. But I've never targeted, nor have I ever caught a trout until a couple of days ago. I actually was, one of the little mill ponds is associated with Lee's McRae College in Banner Elk, and they've got a big mill pond and a big dam that goes down to a little spillway. And so I started at the top of that spillway, and I was fishing the creek side, which I've never done. And it was the first day I went, I was fishing a little jig head with a split shot about 12 to 18 inches above the line, and I covered that jig head totally with night crawler. So I was bait fishing. So I'm not the purist. I think you need to learn where those fish live before you can really go after them with a fly rod, or else I think you're going to spend a lot of time, getting frustrated. So I thought that was the right approach. So I was taking a little 4.5 foot super ultralight with 2 pound and 4 pound test, and throwing it out into the ripples, into the foam, behind the rocks, everywhere I could find a deep pool. And the first day I went out, I had a few fish follow and run at it, but I think the jig head was a little too big. And I was fishing a little grub at that point. I wasn't fishing the night crawlers. So I'd see them come up to it, smack at it, and then they'd run away back underneath or behind a rock. The next day I went back, got my bloodworms, or I keep saying bloodworms down here. People look at me like I got
You can't find bloodworms up here.
You should
run bloodworms up here and bootleg it.
There are no bloodworms here. So night crawlers. I went and got my night crawlers, and I set up that second thing, and it had a big rain come through, and the water was it was stained. The day before it was real clear creek water. But the rain had pushed water over that spillway, and the water was real milk chocolatey, kind of not that clear stream water. And it probably helped, because I know that one of the things you do when you're hunting trout is they'll see you and they spook easy. And, wearing a bright blue shirt and, that kind of stuff is probably not the best idea. But it helped me because that water was a little mucky. And so I was throwing that night crawler up behind like rocks and in the foam and letting it bounce down. And lo and behold, I caught 3 brown trout. And the first one, Joey, I sent you the picture of, and I had no idea whether, first off, I didn't know, this is how noob I am to the whole world of trout fishing. I had no idea that A, it was a brown trout, and B, whether a brown trout was a good fish to catch or if that was considered a trash fish. And I had no idea how big they should be either. So, I'm not afraid to admit it. I've never done it, so I'm learning something new. But I can absolutely, positively, 100% understand your addiction to it. Because, dude, that fish, I didn't know how to hold that fish, but I knew enough, and I've watched enough YouTube videos. I know you wet your hands because you don't want to. I was releasing the fish. I wasn't keeping the fish. So I didn't want to harm them. And I know you wet your hands. You keep them in the water as much as you can. You try to get, them unhooked, but I wanted to get a picture of it. And so I was trying to kind of like hold the fish down in the water, keeping everything wet. All the fish that I had, I think I got horrible pictures of, but I do feel really strongly that I released them and that they were fine. But man, are they strong fish. It just you couldn't even get them in your hand. It was almost like you had to kung fu grip them. I think you sent me that picture back. It's like, oh my goodness, how do you hold this fish without it like going nuts? But if you think about it, they're living in small water. They're living in quickly moving water. They're surrounded by rocks. It's got to be a strong fish. And on a little piece of ultralight, and that first one was easily probably 12 or 13 inches. I think, from the looks of it. I didn't take the time to measure. I wanted to, get it out of the water, get it back in the water, take care of the fish was my priority. And so, but it had to be that big, and it was chunky and fat and had been feeding, and this was sort of late afternoon. But I think that kind of stained water helped me. Does that make sense, Joey? Does that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But wow, I can absolutely positively see that become something that I want to do more of. So that's been my week, and I'm going to go back and do more of it. Those places that I was talking about along the Watauga River, I found a couple of spillways there. I found a couple of big bends in places where that river intersects with other water coming in, and I found places to park to get out there. And so I'm hoping to go out in the next day or two, do a little bit of wade fishing with that ultralight, trying to catch into some smallmouth. That's sort of my next thing while I'm down here. I've caught smallmouth before, but it's been a very, very long time. And again, fish that live in current are strong fish for their size. So, and all I brought is ultralight with 4. I got one rigged with 2, one with 4, and one with 6-pound test. So I think I'll throw the 6-pound test out there in the river, see if I can't, throw some spinners around some rocks, maybe some little square bill crankbaits, maybe in a crawfish kind of pattern or something like that. See if I can't find something. So that's my week. Hey, we got a question for the week. And last week we talked about the specs. This week we want to talk a little bit about fishing kayak storage during the season and during the off season. I want to kind of talk about how to do it right, what to avoid in the danger zone, and then what kind of options, folks. And I figured there's nobody better suited to talk about this than you, Joey, as the manager of a paddle sports shop that sells kayaks. Yeah, puff your collar up there. You got it going on.
Oh no, I got a new sun shirt from Howler Brothers.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you're wearing.
The most. What's that?
You had that on earlier, and you had the hood up, and I couldn't tell what you were doing.
Oh yeah,
it's got the sun hood.
As a redhead, I had zero sun. I used proper sunscreen the last 3 days on the water.
Nice.
But I do like nice clothes, or I'm not gonna wear a t-shirt. It's gonna suck up all the, it's gonna be wet. But Cottony. I got a new sun shirt from them. It's probably hands down my favorite fishing shirt I've worn.
So I'm a big fan of the Columbia button up.
Yeah,
that's pretty much all I wear when I fish, because they're cool, they're comfortable, they're vented. They don't, when they get wet, they don't really hold that. But that's been
this thing's like quick dry wick, because I like the long sleeve, like what people think looks like it's real heavy, but it's breeze and it's got a hood.
Yeah.
This thing is worth the money. I like my Columbia stuff too, which you can get for a little bit. You get a good deal at the outlet.
Keeps us. That's where I bought them. Yeah.
Yeah. This thing, it's going to keep me on the water longer, which is nice.
They're also the official Chesapeake Angler, Coastal Angler Magazine fishing wear.
Columbia or Howler Brothers?
Columbia.
Oh, man, I want Howler Brothers on my team. Got some nice clothes. Anyway.
Yeah, let's talk about kayak storage.
Kayak storage. I am not the best at this.
Oh, but I know.
I know.
Yeah. Don't sell yourself short.
The best thing not to do is keep it out in the heat. Especially when you got all this stuff on it. It's pretty hard on it, especially places that are more suitable to cracking actually show a lot of stress when it's really hot. Mm-hmm. You want to find somewhere nice. Hopefully, if you have a garage or a shed or a huge barn like Brian has, you made a nice wheelie cart.
Yeah.
So you want it out of the elements. You want to keep it elevated. I say keep it elevated. You keep it on the ground, it has more opportunity for critters to get inside of it. Okay. So something like sawhorses or a company like Suspends make nice racks. I'm assuming we're on a fishing podcast, so we're talking about probably some bulkier sitting on top kayaks. Yeah. So you want to make it as easy as you can for this. You have like the best setup I know around.
Well, I mean, it was easy, I'm lucky enough. I do have a big old pole barn that, and I made a cart on wheels. It's the same. The boat is the exact same height as the bed of my truck, and it's got PVC runners. And I was just thinking that I got this question today, and the advice that I handed out was that, because one of the questions was, do I store it on the wheels? And it was no, never, ever, ever, no matter what kind of wheel structure or what kind of wheel system you have, never store the kayak on the wheels. You definitely want it to be flat either. Yep. And I agree. You don't want it on the ground unless that's your only option, I guess.
Yeah. Which I was going to say, I was going to walk through because I have the opposite problem as you.
Okay, go ahead.
So I live in some nice townhomes where I don't have a garage. So what I do is I have a couple sets of sawhorses behind my house, by my patio. And I actually do leave my native on the ground more than I should.
Okay.
It just gets, it rains, it gets dirty. When I do have it at the water though, I do have an actual rack where it's shaded, it's above, it's kept up. But, I got my dad's too. Like right now I got my dad's out back there because I'm not shuttling back and forth in case we go bass fishing this weekend. Mm-hmm. Sawhorses are like $20 at Ace.
Now is that an okay solution? Because then you've still got the hull is being supported by one spot that runs sort of against the length of the boat. But
it sounds weird, and as much as we talk, I just realized that. Because every type of kayak rack solution I have to purchase as a kayak dealer is supporting two spots like that. I just realized that.
Yeah. So
we talk about with the heat. I mean, I will not store it on the wheels.
Yeah, definitely not. Now UV, if you've got it in the sun, that's going to obviously break down the plastic because it is plastic. So you got to be mindful of that, and that's probably also a good selling point if you're looking for boats to. Find them one that's good one-piece molded as opposed to, that
water
seamed,
bottle.
Yeah, the soft stuff that.
A nice tarp will go a long way.
Yeah, that was my next question: is should you
get
actually
some tarp that have that reflective material?
Mm-hmm.
So it disperses the heat.
Yeah,
and it keeps it out of the elements. And if you're decking out a kayak, you might have some electronic bits.
Yeah,
and stuff you don't need to get wet. Not everything's 100% stainless, so you might have some weak points. So if you can keep a tarp on it, and I joked about it earlier this year, and I saw someone come with kayak covers for natives.
Okay,
I was like, that's dumb, and now I'm ready to buy one
because it keeps.
So it's like a boat cover.
Yeah, it keeps leaves and that kind of stuff out of it if you've got a store, and it would also probably provide it some UV protection. And then also sort of hides the boat. If you've got to keep it out sort of in an open space.
So it helps.
What about the drive? Would you recommend taking the drive and storing it somewhere else?
Yeah, I would. If you have a drive boat, because that's the most expensive part of the boat. It's also really hard to take the boat and use it without the drive.
Right.
Because from a theft standpoint, it's kind of like e-bikes at our shop. Someone steals a drive out of the boat. The first thing you're going to do is look to buy a drive. Well, first thing someone that gets their boat stolen is going to do is tell the kayak shop, hey, I had my kayak stolen and some jagaloon wants to buy a drive. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like someone Someone stole a bunch of e-bikes at a bike shop this year in the city, and they got caught because didn't have chargers, and they were trying to buy chargers for the e-bikes.
There you go.
So, you pull the drive, but also the drive's worth a lot of money. Keep it stored dry. They're pretty resilient, obviously, because I use mine in saltwater all the time, and there's people that use them way more than me. But it helps. The more you can do. A drive unit on a native is $1,000.
Yeah,
Hobie's $900 to $1,000 unless you keep going up with their nicer ones. So
my PDL is about $1,000, so $900 to $1,000 or something like that. And I know that they recommend you rinse it with fresh water after saltwater usage. And I will be honest, I've been
I do not,
amiss with that. And one thing I did do, because I had the pin, the keyway that puts the prop in place. I had that break. So I hobbled one back together, but I called Old Town and I had them send me 4 of the keyways or the prop pin and 2 spare props. And I actually put them in a wet bag and I store them in the back compartment of the boat so that if I'm ever out and break a pop, or if I'm ever out and I break off a prop pin, I've got 4 replacements and 2 prop replacements there. So I think that's also a smart thing to do.
So the one thing I guess just said I'm pretty bad sometimes at hosing all my stuff down.
I'm horrible.
But what I do about every 2 weeks is I do wash my kayak.
Okay.
You were out here one day. I think I was washing it before the bike podcast. But get some Dawn and some soapy water, and because no matter how you're storing it, what gets in it, and salt water, fresh water, fish grime.
Yeah.
I just wash it every couple of weeks. I get a nice brush and scrub it, and it takes me 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it helps a lot with the UV and everything. And then you can get a 303, the 303 aerospace, whatever, in a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
So especially if you're storing it if you don't have a nice setup like Brian, that does a lot to keep color, keeps it protected, it restores everything, keeps it rich. Sell it at West Marine for $20 a bottle.
I need to absolutely do that because I'm horrible about cleaning my boat. It looks like a swampy mess every time I go out in it. but a part of it is because I do have such an easy setup. It literally takes me 5 minutes to unload the boat and 5 minutes to load the boat. It's just push the cart right up to the back of the truck. I got to put my my T-bone, my Boondocks T-bone on, roll it up to the back, push it in, strap it down, run away. So cool.
I beat that one a while. Sorry.
No, that's good. I mean, so my takeaways from that are don't store it on the wheels.
Yep.
Get it out of the elements if you can.
Yep.
And store it flat, either on sawhorses, or if you've got the option, a preferred way to do that would be something like I've got running with the cart that supports the boat across the entirety of the hull.
Yeah.
Okay.
Luckily, this winter I got my whole kayak shop to store the 2 kayaks.
True.
Which is perfect.
You can also put them in my pole barn.
Yeah.
You can always do that. I got plenty of space for that. Now that
you should rent that out.
We're getting ready to rent out the slip. I probably shouldn't talk about that though.
So you can have 40 kayaks in there.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, do you need anywhere to store boats? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so hopefully that answered that question on how to handle that fishing kayak during the season, and maybe in the future we want to talk about what to do with it during the off season, because that's important too. Is how do you store that thing long term? Breaking it down, leaving hatches open, but yet protected from critters, because that's, especially if you got it outdoors, that's something to think about. So, hey Joe, you got anything else before we wrap this thing up tonight?
No, I thought these bullet points are for the whole storage thing.
Yeah.
No, I do want to throw in there. So after I fished St. Jerome's, I did swing by the tackle box, the famous tackle box in St. Mary's County, because no one has anything. I was able to pick up a lot of stuff I wanted. It was very selective. I got a bunch of the saltwater assassin little shad paddle tail things.
Cool.
Wanted to restock on those for when I'm using light tackle. I got jig heads, I got line. It wasn't a huge selection, but they're holding it together.
Yeah.
So if you need anything in St. Mary's or Calvert, because everywhere else is sold out,
go see Ken.
Hit them up.
Go see Ken. Ken does a great job too. We get a lot of things that we talk about for our fishing report from Ken Lamb over at the Tackle Box. He sends out a weekly fishing report catch-up thing, and then we also use various other resources like the Maryland DNR's fishing report, and people send us stuff. So if you've got stuff to send it. Yeah.
I do want to say right on the door was a pretty bright orange sign about not having bloodworms.
Oh, jeez.
But when I was in there was 3 different people that asked if they had bloodworms. I was like, how do you not read that? It's like they put it at eye level, no matter if you're 5 foot or 6 foot. It's like perfect height.
I was expecting to have a hard time finding night crawlers down here, and I walked into a little gas station, and they had tons of them. So,
well, there's no one living down there, Brian.
Well, there's not that many people down here right now with the whole COVID thing. This place is, Banner Elk is known as a drinking town with a skiing problem. That's their moniker.
Put it.
Is a drinking town with a skiing problem. And during the summer, I mean, it's all about, just being in the mountains and the cool air and fishing and riding bikes. There's more bike racks on cars. In fact, Banner Elk is home to Lee's McRae College, which is, I think, the only college in the nation you can get an undergraduate degree in cycling. Did you know that?
I think I've only heard that from you.
Yeah, they have a very, very large and well-established and well-respected cycling team because they're here.
What's the college called?
Lee's McRae. It's about 800 kids. My daughter actually applied to go there and got accepted, but a little too small for her and a little too in a snowy place. So she's in Florida instead. So, okay, let's wrap this thing up. Folks, if you're looking to get in touch with us, check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Angler Magazine Chesapeake. On Instagram, you can find the magazine at Chesapeake Angler. You can find me at BN Rains. Where can they find you, Joey?
At Joey Sikorsky 24, or look at something tagged off of your page.
That's right.
Sikorsky's hard to find.
All of this stuff is all tagged together, and I think we all tag each other. So, hey, check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Chesapeake Angler. I'm closing in on 400 subscribers, and the channel is growing. We're dropping videos, at least 2 a week, I think, including you can get this podcast there. So if you don't want to listen to this podcast, if you'd on a podcast player on your phone, but you'd rather run it at work in the background, that's a great way to do it, youtube.com/Chesapeake Angler. And, of course, the magazine. Don't forget the magazine. You can pick one up around the Maryland as well as read the e-magazine online at ChesapeakeAnglerMag.com. All right, everybody, get out there and get bent.
Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.